I'm taking over Penn State and seeing if I can win a national championship with a school that hasn't won one since 1986. Now, if you watch Penn State lose to Oregon, you might have thought I'd already taken them over with the type of read Drew Aller made in overtime. I'd expect a lot of those in the season playthrough because I brought back the hardest sliders that I have ever played on. They frustrate me. I said they'd never come back, but here we are. The only goal in this video is to win it all with Penn State, as I take over where they just left off, coming up on a game against UCLA. Of all the teams in the Big Ten, UCLA is not one I think you should worry about. There's probably like a 75% chance they finish this season winless. But that'll be a good warm-up as we get into the rest of the year because we have teams like Ohio State and Indiana that are going to be on our schedule. If we just take a quick look at the roster we get to use in this video, as I play through this season, I am very excited for Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton. This 1-2 punch means we should be able to lean on running the football a lot. Nick Singleton's got 94 speed. Kaytron Allen I think has 89, but he's still a beast. And even the receivers we're going to be throwing the ball to, the tight ends we're going to be throwing the ball to, Luke Reynolds especially with his 88 speed, are looking very good. I can promise you though, I probably play this game the exact same way that Drew Aller does, so there's going to be some very interesting reads throughout this video. The 69 throw under pressure is what I'm worried about the most, but let's just go ahead and get into this game on the road at 0-4 UCLA. I'm pretty sure at this point Nico Ayamaleva, however you say it, has to be regretting transferring from Tennessee. He got less money and he's on a team that's not going to win a game. I am dead serious when I say that. I don't think they're going to win a game this season. They've already played their easiest opponents. That means if he can beat us in this matchup, there is a very big problem. I always enjoy doing full season playthroughs though. That was some instant pressure. And I'm hoping in this video we can get James Franklin and Penn State over the hump, that we can win them a national championship. Not just winning a national championship either. Winning games in the first place would be nice. We're going to make that tackle, forcing them to punt. I was talking with my friends yesterday and I was like, how did Penn State end up getting to the semifinals? Then we remembered they got to play Boise State and SMU in the playoffs last year, so they had an easier path. If we can get there in this video, we won't have that. And for our first carry, we're just going to hand it off and let Nick Singleton explode out of there as he's getting near midfield. I think the most fun part about using Penn State as well is they have a very unique playbook with lots of different plays. So if we want to, we should be able to get extra creative. Drew Aller is just going to take his check down here. It's going to make it 3rd and 1. Nick Singleton is going to have the numbers over on that side of the field as long as our blocks are picked up. That's the thing about these sliders though. It's not just being on Heisman. They make the game way harder than that. If this was just straight Heisman difficulty, we probably could have walked UCLA down the field with our eyes closed just because Penn State's that good. But it's not. That's what I like about it though. I want this video to be a challenge if I'm a user. So far, our offense has been just as efficient as it was versus Oregon through the first 3 quarters. And on 3rd and 3, we are going to mix in some man-to-man coverage, but we're just not going to be able to stick with everybody. Let's see, what are they going with? An RPO? They're just blasting out of there. We simply can't let them keep doing this to us. We're going to have to get our stop. Here's our opportunity. 3rd down. We're through there, but they had the option. So the Bruins get their first down, and they're going to have this slant again. If we're going to even beat an 0-4 team, we got a lot to think about. I think we might need to start run committing if we don't want them to get into the end zone here. But now that we have them on the 6-yard line, we'll see what they go with. They had the option to throw that too. This is such a hard spot to be in as Nico takes it in. And this could be for me disrespecting how I've pronounced Alimaleva's last name. He should know it's not personal though. I never pronounce anybody's last name. There should also be no stadium pulse in this stadium. How unrealistic is it for there to be a full stadium of UCLA fans? I don't think that's something that happens too often. We're going to have to make a bad read with Drew Aller, aren't we? You don't come for the good gameplay, you come for the realistic gameplay. He's not looking like he's going to get off to a good start this season in this playthrough. And how did they know we were in cover 3? If I had to take a wild guess, it's because that's exactly what we were showing them. Come on, Nico. I know you want to force it. We might need to pull out a blitz earlier, and I was thinking, there's no way they're going to get out of there if we do. This is definitely college football at its finest. You never know who's going to win on a given Saturday. On 2nd and 12, we will hit one of our running backs underneath. Nick Singleton is just the one that happened to get open. And I feel like we just haven't been able to run the ball very well so far. They're all over it. We're going to let Kaytron Allen get a touch here, but the halfback screen didn't work. And I can't even hot route. So here we go. 3rd and 12. Plenty of time for Drew Aller, but he didn't get it out. You know, the first time I threw a pick, it was kind of funny. I was like, oh well, we're still going to beat UCLA. I'm starting to get a little concerned. I don't get very many stops on defense with these sliders. I think our formula we kind of figured out in the Arkansas series was you have to make sure you're bringing pressure. You're just not going to get good pass rush if you don't. But if we're not careful, this could lead to some really big gains. Here on 3rd and 4, I've decided we're sending 7, and we're in the way of the ball. So we've given ourselves 2 minutes before the end of this first half to just figure out our offense. The most effective thing so far for UCLA has been these RPOs, so I thought we might as well try one ourselves. That's Luke Reynolds on the end of that one. Now we're going to look for Nick Singleton underneath as he gets us 15 more. This game is all about momentum, and we need to get some on our side. They're shooting that well. But we have another RPO set up, and I don't know if this is going to open up, but it does. It does. Now, Nick Singleton looks like he might run a little bit too far backwards here. Fortunately, he doesn't. He actually just runs straight out there, and he should be able to get a touchdown on the ground, but he was held up short. The Bruins have also called a timeout, so they want this ball back before we get to the end of the first half. For how bad we started off offensively, I'm feeling a little bit better. But we have to keep in mind, UCLA is still going to have a lot of time to get down the field versus us. Are you kidding me right now? There's just no way that they were able to bring that ball in. Nico looks like he's about to escape and get them in field goal range. We're going to try and hit him. He sheds off the tackle instead like he's Lenore Sellers. And he's let the clock run down. He's actually let the clock run down really far. Hang on. Snap this ball. They called a timeout. They were smart about it. That really stinks. They're going to be able to go up by 10 points with this kick. But hold on. They left us a second on the clock. And we're going to direct snap it. Drew Aller picks up his block. Can we get out of there? We almost did. Those Wildcat formations are going to be so much fun to explore whenever we don't have the pressure of losing to an 0-4 team. But I might just explore them on this drive anyway. I think we have a 2-quarterback set out there at the moment, which is really neat. No, it's not. No, it's not if we're going to fumble. We are officially on upset alert. I just can't imagine this ends well for us. Nico keeps it on the ground. I didn't know he had it like this. He's breaking a tackle too. And they're just going to hit us with play action for a quick throw. To be fair, that could have been a lot worse. I bit down hard. We'll shift our line, and it worked. The most important thing we could do, though, is just keep them out of the end zone here, and we don't. We don't. We just made it so easy for them to get in, and we can't get off the block. You know what? So much for running the football. Why would we ever run the football when they're dumb enough to press 2 of our fastest receivers on the outside? We can get back in this game. We can get back in this game. They just disrespected Trevor Pina for no reason at all, but apparently we missed the extra point. We also are not doing a very good job whenever it comes to making tackles out there. We'll see what they go with on 2nd and 5. It's a quick read. 3rd and 3. Okay, I don't mind this look as long as we get a sack. Sometimes you just got to bring the pressure. I told you, send in for it. They're going to get like 10 seconds back there, and we're never going to get the ball back. Now, I don't think UCLA is going to come out pressing the way that they were on that last drive, but what we saw was the cornerbacks that they do have out there on the field aren't that good. They're most likely just going to have to stay in zone coverage versus us, but they really don't respect Trevor Pina at all. And Trevor Pina's only got like 94 speed, but I'm desperate. I am desperate for points, so I'll try and make this throw. Drew Aller's playing exactly how fans wish he would. How do I get this ball over to Varner? How can I make this a pass somehow? It's going to be a run with our tight end that's going to fight our way in. I told you, this Penn State playbook is super fun. We're going with the wide receiver screen on the 2-point conversion. Pina falls forward, and we just need to be able to stop the run. That's really what we've struggled the most with in this game. Thomas is gone. We're back down by 10. Losing to UCLA is something that is becoming closer to happening. Forget a national championship. I don't know how far we're going to be able to make it at all this season if this is the way that we're going to play. Drew Aller gets us the first down. What are they going with coverage-wise, though? That is the real question. And if there's no quarterback spot, I'm going to run. What I really want to see is some man-to-man, which we got here. That guy lurking over the middle. I have to be patient or else I know I will throw it straight to him. Ross getting a little loose. And I love how efficient our hurry-up offense has been. Final play of the quarter. There it is. There it is. Trevor Pina catches it. What are we going to do about our defense, though? I didn't know that RPO had so many different reads. They're so difficult to stop. I thought there were just 2. And that's what happens whenever we blitz. This UCLA playbook is a pain, but we're going to send 7. And no one was out there on the running back. They can't go for another touchdown. See, here's the thing. I got to be watching for wherever he is at immediately. Except our blitzing strategy isn't really any good. And this is going to be a 3rd and 6. Some of our corners are pressing here. I actually want to back them up a little bit. We're watching the flats. That was a decent play call, but they're short. This is perfect. They're going to leave us with 4 minutes left in this game. A touchdown wins it. When it comes to play calling, I don't know how bold I'm going to be. Nick Singleton breaks 1 already. I think the most effective way that we're going to get down the field is if we have RPOs like this, and it can lead to gains like that. That was a sick play. We just got to make sure we continue to keep guys in motion. I wanted to go for a deep look here, but it just wasn't there. Can we pick up that block? We do. We do. And all of this for us to just throw it downfield and catch it. This is what every NFL draft scout has a wet dream about Drew Aller becoming. And I really do want to root for the guy. I do. Sometimes he just lets you down. It's 3rd and 8 now, and I'm not sure if we have the option to throw the slant, but I really wish that we did. We have got to pick up this 4th and 8, and we're going for the possession catch. It's dropped. We're actually going to lose to UCLA. We're going to lose to them. There's nothing more to be said unless we can tackle him behind the line. Push him out. Nope. I did my best, but at the end of the day, we just weren't meant to win this game. There's just no way that Penn State's not running this ball on every single play. They're going to take a knee, but that won't run it out. All right, and here's the thing. We will gladly take our chance in this one. If we can get a big return too, that would help. He breaks the tackle. Keep going. Come on. All right, we are throwing over to the sideline. We got to get out of bounds. That's the most important part about this play, which we did. I almost just want to run that back because of how good it looked. Can we do that? No, it's not really going to be there. We're going to have to go for the playmaker. Come on, Nick Singleton, run! It's knocked out. I think this should let you know what I'm up against the rest of the season. I'm not sure we can lose another game and still make it to the playoffs. There's a lot that we can learn from this matchup, though. The first thing is absolutely nobody respects Penn State now. We fell all the way down to number 21 after being number 6. But I did think that Trevor Pina helped us spread the field really well, so that is my one positive takeaway. Only 93 speed, but he was beating the UCLA press. Of all the games that we have on here, that was really the one that you cannot lose because we still have to face Ohio State and Indiana. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to the Big Ten championship at 0-2. And James Franklin right there is probably looking a little bit worried, but it's Northwestern. We're at home. Surely we don't lose again. Now, I know it's Penn State's tradition and all, but the Nittany Lions might have one of the most boring jersey combos in all of college football. You're not going to get much variety out of that, but take a look at this crowd playing at Happy Valley. I am looking forward to this game, so much so that we're taking out the kickoff, even though we shouldn't have. And this will be the one where Drew Aller proves all the haters wrong. Northwestern is not going to dominate possession versus us. That's their key to winning, so we just have to make sure that they don't. First handoff gets blown up. We'll just go to the air on 2nd down if that's going to be the case and make sure we pick it up. We're a little bit short, but Nick Singleton, no one should stop Nick Singleton if he only has to get like a yard. And I'm not a big fan of the numbers here, but we're still going to be able to find that hole. This is the way we should have played against the Bruins. We should have kept it on the ground, not keeping it with Drew Aller. And if we plan on keeping it with Drew Aller, confuse them. Have a quad set out there and then just run it up the middle when the numbers are on our side. I really like the look the quad set gives us because if they're not going to go out there and have the numbers, it's just the freest 10-15 yards of all time. What I messed up with is this is a very fun playbook, and I just didn't get creative enough out of it. Katron Allen is going to take off. I don't even know what type of play that was. But that was a fun drive, and by the end of this video, I might decide that I just want to use Penn State's playbook the most when I do the rest of my rebuilds. I mean, I'm just loving the options there. With the Stadium Pulse on our side, I'm feeling great. We got to make sure no one goes to the flat. That was the one area I was supposed to guard. And that sets us up for a 3rd and 5. We're going to go with some man-to-man coverage. Tight end corner route's not there. But look at how much time they're getting back there in the pocket. I don't know if we need to sneak Abdul Carter back out there onto the field or what, get him back in school. We just need some help. I'm pretty sure we sent 4, and they still had all the time in the world. I'm just so mad at myself that this playbook was this fun, and we messed it up by losing to UCLA last week. Granted, I was trying to figure out what all was going on with these Wildcat playbooks, and it feels like it just leaves some big holes open. We have a 2-quarterback set out there. I don't think we can ever throw it to Drew Aller on these plays, but can you imagine being in an online dynasty with your buddies and being able to fake them out like this? I think this playbook would be great for that. Okay, Tron Allen comes in to the red zone. Rumor has it this week as well, we might start filming an online dynasty with a bunch of YouTubers. We will see if that actually happens. This is something that's been in the works for a while. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. We're in the end zone. I'm legitimately thinking this might be the playbook I end up running. One thing about some of the YouTubers, Eric Rayweather specifically, is I have somehow never lost him. I don't know how that is possible, but it's how it is. I've never lost. And I say that knowing that he is miles better at the game than I ever have been. Can somebody make a tackle, please? Anyway, the flukiest stuff always happens. I'll either pull out Wildcat, some trick plays, or I'll just get super lucky. So if I can run a playbook like this against him, it would get on his last nerve. We usually play most of our games during early access, so you will never have seen it. But I promise, it is peak content. Come on, don't leave him open. As for some of the other guys that are going to be in there, of course, Drew. I think me and Drew are going to have some of the best games ever. He normally runs for like 200 yards against me, maybe 300. We're going to go back to running the ball after that. Well, it's come to my attention that we are already on a 3rd and 10, which we're going to get stopped on. So Northwestern just got themselves back into this game so fast. It felt like we were in a position to just run away with the whole game. I think I got way too confident too fast. They almost busted that. Northwestern still has Cam Porter at running back too. In the NIL era, it's nice to see the same guy stay there. But on 3rd down, we have to have an answer for this offense. And all I could think of was sending a blitz. It got in. On 3rd and short, that's one of my favorite things to do. I did not want them to get into field goal range. We're going to run away from this ball, let it go in the end zone. And let's get back to this wildcat formation where our tight end is on the end of keeping it. Come on. Luke Reynolds breaks 2 tackles. Now, I got a better idea. Just make it our double-headed monster at running back. I felt like that set would be a lot harder for teams to stop. Nick Singleton still going. And I'm not sure how we're even going to get a halfback stretch out of this play. That's how. That is how. Now, we can't just run wildcat forever, but that is going to be one of our bread and butters throughout this season. The slant gets us to the 7. Maybe it's the 9. It's all the same thing. I want to throw this ball up to Hudson here, but we're not. We're instead going to hit Luke Reynolds, who goes to the 2. Now, here's where I wish I could find like a jump pass or something, because I'm almost certain that they're going to have the numbers to stop us. Maybe we just need to go with the QB sneak, though, and let Drew Aller's big body get over the line. I'm still not happy about that touchdown drive that Northwestern had against us, but we're coming hard now. It was like a wake-up call. We're playing better, and we're about to get them on a 3rd and 8. Of course, we got the stadium pulse on our side. We're going to set a quarterback contain. We just can't let anything underneath get open, except the one man that I'm on, I left him 5 yards open. There is no fix for playing that poorly, except simply just needing to get better. And I think we gave Northwestern this false hope that they could come back in this game. Give us the pick. We got Mo Bamba Blast in here. I'm watching the flat over on this side of the field, but they just send it up. And we got to knock that ball loose. Come on. Now they're going to chew the clock down to 50 seconds left in this first half. And I'm pretty sure the run isn't coming a second time. We're ready for the pass? No, we're clearly not. Our corner on that side of the field just ruined that entire drive. We might as well go for points before the end of the first half, though. And instead of only running the football, let Drew Aller throw it a bit. Maybe we just get Nick Singleton out in space when we know that they're playing super far back here. And I think a simple tight end drag underneath is going to allow us to move the chains. There's only about 20 seconds left in the half, so field goal is most likely what's going to happen. We probably should have thrown this a lot sooner, but I wanted to go for the bigger gain. And this is the type of chaotic offense that has put us in this sort of position in the first place. Unless it looks like we're about to break off a touchdown run here, we're just going to have to go down. And it's nice that we're about to be up by 2 possessions, but it's Northwestern. If this is how we're playing teams like them, I don't want to know what's going to happen when we got to face Ohio State. It's just crucial that we open up this 3rd quarter the right way, which we are. We have Northwestern on a 3rd and 13. I highly doubt that they're going to be able to pick this up against us. All we got to do is make that tackle. And now we get to pull out one of the most fun offenses in college football. Let's just run Wildcat. Get out of our way. I really wish I could put Drew Aller on a route, but I can't. He's just going to stay down there. We wanted that ISO man-to-man coverage, though. That is a throw that we should be hitting. Varner is a quarterback. We're going to have our curl. Hang on to it, Ross. Let's at least keep things a little bit more normal. We don't have to go with Wildcat every drive. I will need to master it, though, at some point this season. We're going to use the RPO to Luke, get the first. I think my favorite one is still this because we got him coming across, and when they bite down on the run like that, we can just dink over the top to Dinkins. I'm a little afraid for what happens on this play, though. Hang on. Northwestern's right next to Nick Singleton. Snap it. Give us the free play. It wasn't open. I don't know how that play would work since there was no spot to hand it off if he isn't open. But it doesn't matter. I did not make a bad read there. I knew it was a free play. It was all we could do. At least this time, if the bubble's not there, Katron Allen's going to get it. I can't say that Clifford was that open, but we threw him anyway. And this play has 4 different reads for Drew Aller to make. There's no feasible way for him to make all those reads after deciding who to hand it to. Like, legitimately, that is a setup for failure. This is a combo of my favorite play, though. Oh, we might have just found a new good RPO. Unless they move another linebacker out there to cover, we are always going to have the numbers here. What type of pass was that? Oh, well, now we got to decide if we're just going to hand this off or keep it. I wish we could audible here. I mean, we can still get into the end zone, but it was a lot harder. Since we're starting to get a little bit more comfortable, this is exactly how I imagined our games against Northwestern and UCLA going. Here on 3rd and 4, they're going to take it into the 4th quarter, which means this is going to be 4-down territory. In short down situations, I've been using double mug, so we're going to do it again. That's why. You just have to completely disregard the fact that there were multiple people open there. I'm going to switch this to a Tampa 2. This is going to end really bad, though. Okay, that's fine. When I audibled, I was on one of those deep blues, except I was all the way on the line of scrimmage. Even 1 extra second out there, and it would have been very, very bad. I just don't understand what happened on the screen. I knew that the second this ball came out, I had to have watched somebody teleport. He still didn't get the ball, but he does help us make it 3rd and 19, and I'm curious, does this aggressive blitz get in? No, they just had all the time in the world instead, and they're going to pick up the 3rd and 19. Nope, forward progress is just not a thing. And we're missing multiple tackles. Another tackle? Somebody. It's not like Northwestern has really good odds because they're still going to have to reach the end zone multiple times in order to win. But I want our defense to be stronger than it's been so far in this game. The way to do that is getting them off the field on 4th and 3. Looks like they got a screenplay that we're blowing up, and there was a flag as well. I'm not sure why he's sitting there celebrating. Buddy, you're going to lose. Now that we got the ball back, we can pretty comfortably say that we're going to run out most of the clock, or we're going to get held to a 3 and out. Either way, I don't think it's going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things. On their 4th and 14, they're coming up well short. The Wildcats would never see the ball again after that, so we are walking away with a win. I still got my sights set ahead to that game at #1 Ohio State, but before that can come up, we are going to have to face Iowa. And what I'll tell you about the Hawkeyes is they're currently 5-1, and they're probably just going to run the ball down our throats. If their offense ends up being successful against our defense, I'm going to be incredibly salty. And you all should know that because all I say about Iowa football is I'd much rather watch paint dry than sit there on a given Saturday and sit through their offense. For their sake as well, for their fans' sake, there is nothing I would wish more than them to just have an explosive offense one year. But it never happens out that way. It doesn't matter who they decide to bring in. Iowa is always going to score half their points off either defense or special teams. It's just the way that it is meant to be. That is a great carry to start this game. We are a little curious. We're testing out their pass coverage. Drew Aller is about to sail a throw. I really don't think we got a foot down, but if the refs aren't going to look at it, we're just going to keep it going. 2nd and 9, Katron Allen is going to get blown up in the backfield, and we might get held to a field goal here. It looks like we have the seam. It looks like we have the seam. It's going to be an interception. Now, as I watch this playback, I am painfully aware at how open Pina would have been for a touchdown there. Let's take a look at the hospital while we're sitting over here in instant replay too. Look at the detail on this thing, man. Now, I don't think those are kids. Those don't look like kids to me. They look like grown adults, the same assets that they use on every stadium. You can have a lot of fun if you just go around to every college stadium in the country on this game and zoom into the fans. I'm not sure about the actual crowd. I think all of those are a bunch of different assets, but if you look at anything that's like a suite where they've had to put some people up, you will literally see like the same 6 or 7 guys. There is absolutely no variety there, but why would there be? It doesn't have very much to do with what's going on the field. Can we stop the run, please? That's all that I'm asking. I'm prepared for our 6-3 shootout in this game. Oh, no. Oh, no. I left the wheel route open. Wheatley, you better turn on the Jets. You better turn them on. I don't think Iowa's had a passing play that explosive for 63 yards in a decade. That was embarrassing. That was genuinely embarrassing, and this is what they do best. Kamari Moulton, their running back, just got hit with an injury, though. So I thought that'd affect this team negatively. Instead, we're falling behind 7-0. And I just feel like anytime we play on the road, that's when we're going to struggle like this. Playing at Kinnick Stadium is obviously going to be a much tougher environment than playing at UCLA was for us. And there's just actually no way this is what's happening to us. We already had one bad loss this season. We cannot be losing to Iowa. This is a very big 3rd and 9. I'm watching the seam. Throw it. Throw it. Oh, we almost had that. We're still going to be down 10-0. I didn't think they'd miss this kick, but that's much better than 14-0. Let's just hand this off to Katron Allen. I'm afraid that everything that would work for us typically is not working, and they're probably about to hold us to a 3 and out. Our offense has just had a very slow start in this game. I'm trying to playmaker. Oh, it didn't work. Drew Aller doesn't care, though. Drew Aller does not care. That was about the luckiest thing that could have happened to us there because we were definitely about to get stopped. And what do we got on this 2nd and 5? We're going to roll out. We're going to run with Drew Aller. Come on. Block for him. I'm wondering if we can hit Clifford on this motion if he gets open here. I don't think we could have. And this will be the final play of the first quarter. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown if Drew Aller puts it on the money, which he does. Just like that, we are back in this game. Everybody wave to the kids up in the hospital right now. That is genuinely a really awesome tradition. Their first handoff of the second quarter, going for 6. Playing Iowa in the rain was about the worst luck that we could have gotten. They're most likely going to bounce off of everything, or we're just going to struggle to bring them down. I think to stop the run, we need to start placing guys on blitzes like this that can just get off the edge. Right there. We're right there for it. I really don't appreciate that he still fought forward for 3, but we're off the edge again. These corner blitzes are genuinely really helpful, but they just ran 4 verticals. That was just not what I was expecting out of Iowa, but it was a good call. Second down, if they just go with another run, we're prepared for it. Since they're throwing, though, we're going to have to get out there and make this tackle. Everyone knows what's coming, but we stepped offside. They were on goal line. I was trying to shoot the gap so they couldn't QB sneak. That is pretty painful. They're just going to have the numbers up the middle, but I feel like this is going to be our best way to stop the run. We're in there. Come on. All over it. I am a little bit worried that on 3rd and 7, Mark Gronowski's just going to take off and run for a touchdown, but we got the sack, and we're getting this ball back before the end of the half. Assuming they drill this kick, we'll have a chance to go up 14-13. It's far from ideal, but it's just the spot that we're going to find ourselves in. This is why you got to use those slants. Stadium Pulse is probably going to get to us for a little bit, but Drew Aller can keep it. Don't fumble. I really like this play call here out of this formation. It's what we scored our touchdown off of. If they go with man-to-man coverage deep, we should have them, but we didn't. Now we're running the risk of getting stopped on 3rd and 7. That's why we got the pass out fast. And I wish I could audible over to a bubble play because that would allow us to get such a big gain there. They definitely have the numbers to stop it here, which is why we're just going to throw our slant. Of course, there's a flag. It's going to be coming back, but it felt like the right read. I really like that call. We might just do it again and hope that there's not a flag this time. It's 3rd and 9. It could be 4 down territory, to be honest. I mean, he just came out of there explosively, and we're still going to pick up the first down. What we've been waiting for, though, is the numbers to stack up like this, so Nick Singleton can catch it fast, and he can just put the juke on one kid. It's a very hard formation for them to stop. We could go for a quarterback blast, and Drew Aller can easily get the first. At any moment, we could just throw out a bunch of curl routes and almost throw an interception. We're just using variety out there, and Kaytron Allen has nowhere to go. I really hate that, because I was hoping that we just run the ball and make it really easy to move the chains. But now we're in a weird position. We're left with just 1 timeout left, 13 seconds left in the half. I thought that was a very unique route for us to throw. But this has to be a joke. I simmed over the extra point again, and it got blocked. Evidently, I can't sim the extra point, because if I do, then we're just not going to get the point. Very frustrating stuff. We sent in 7, but that was the right play call from them. This type of formation is either going to stop the run for like a 5-yard loss, which we've done here, or it's going to get gashed for a huge gain, which is why I've decided to switch it up a little bit. Now, I'm not sure if Iowa realizes it, but just going backwards isn't going to score them more points in this game. They're going to punt it back to us. And there is nothing more beautiful than the checkered crowds in college football. All of them, they look incredible. We're busting out of there. We got a little speed boost action that I wish I was skilled enough to replicate. Nick Singleton on the halfback screen. He's going to juke out one defender, and I'm going to go back to our bread and butter. We audible over to the quarterback run when they only have a few guys up there on the line. There's also the gate formation, which just pulls a lineman out to that left side. We're going to run with a jet touch pass and let Nick Singleton go for a huge gain. This is genuinely one of the best things you've ever seen probably, though it looked like they were going to guard it well. Honestly, I have to be smarter than that. In a close game like this, we can't be sitting out there experimenting. It's really just not the time. On 3rd down, can't miss that throw, Drew. That is a really frustrating miss, of course, if we lock in. We can hit the field goal. They're going to block it, probably. There's a flag. We've been bailed. He must have bumped our leg or something. That's the reason it missed. It was definitely not the meter that you saw me miss on. And now we go back to work. Nick Singleton, he's got the blocks. He's going to get us 7 or 8. It is really scaring me how much wear and tear damage he's taken, how little we've been using Kaytron Allen. We have to make sure it's truly a split backfield. And what's the read here? It's our tight end. That was really painful to see, but I think they're in man-to-man coverage. They're going to send in their blitz, and that's the wrong button. I thought that was the drag. No, see, what did I tell you about Iowa? They score their points off of defense. Typically, circles the drag out of that bunch formation. It must not be out of quads. That just changed everything. We worked so hard to get down the field, and not only did they stop us, but they got an interception out of it. This is not the time to go cold. Hang on. Why is Drew Aller not out there in this formation? I must have some point accidentally selected that package. He's going to keep it. And you gotta fight. You gotta fight. This is not good. The last time we were on 4th and 2, you saw what happened. And this is what I'm talking about. The drag that I always end up throwing ends up being circle. It just wasn't on that last play. It is really frustrating. We're gonna have the drag here, even though we rolled straight out of our protection. Hudson gets us to the red zone. And we'll see if the drive can continue. Nick Singleton up the middle, breaks one. He is at the 3. Now, this is where we're typically going to get stuffed, but I'm going to hand it off anyway and see if we get in. We have tied things back up at 20 once I kick. That's right. I did not forget. We're not going to miss this extra point because I'm lazy. We have to get this ball back, though. And how are we going to do that? It's going to be playing good defense. With the way these sliders are set up, I don't think it's going to come off of a mistake that Iowa makes. We're in there. Perfect. It is now 3rd and 10. We're watching if they're going to look over the middle. We can hit them. Did he catch it? That's honestly just so unlucky. At least we're stopping the counter. 2nd and 8. They're going to get him out again, but we're out there. Make the tackle. And I think I'm going to use this zone over here. It's a curl route. Someone's got to be sent. Come on. Come on. We're good. They could hit us with a fake here, and it'd be pretty lethal because I'm not prepared for it. But I have never seen the computer run a fake on this game. They punt it back to us, and we have our opportunity to score. We've had mistakes, but all it's going to take to close this one out is a field goal. Just missing our assignment there. I do not like that. I think this is the direct snap that goes to Katron Allen. He could have cut that up for a lot more. But this whole drive is just going to be about keeping the ball and getting the inches. Now we can go back to it and see if it works out any differently. As bad as I just want to cut that immediately, it sucks you forward. And we're just not going to be able to get off a hot route. That's why that play went the way that it did. On 3rd and 11, I'm throwing this up. There's a flag. We still caught it. No. See, this is what EA does. They're just cheating us out of it. There was no holding. We did good, and it's just not going to matter. I see that they're pressing. I find that pretty interesting. I don't know if it's going to matter. It does. It does matter. What a sequence. I don't care about the holding call anymore. We have it back. We're back. Nick Singleton juking inside. Come on. Come on. Unfortunately, they are going to have an opportunity to respond. That's just how it's going to be. I'm feeling a little bit better, though. We'll see what they go with on this first play. To dump off, just wrap them up in bounds. That's all they need. The clock is not on their side. They're going to stay in hurry-up mode. There's no reason to spike the ball yet. They don't want to waste it down. But see, they just took off like 10 seconds. We want them to take those short underneath throws and not get the bigger gains. We should not have been there. That was kind of my fault. I decided that we were going to go with some hard flats. They just ran the ball against us. And we'll see if they do it again. I don't understand the play calling. I'm not sure if Iowa fans have ever understood the play calling, though. Perfect. That's perfect. On 3rd and 14, if they go with 4 verticals, we got some match coverage out there. That works. I don't know how he got out of it. It's going to be 4th and 8, and I was a little worried that they'd run 4 verticals here. We're watching that. Oh, he threw it up. Swat it. Swat it. Great defense. It should have never come down the way that it did, but we have survived. I told you, these sliders, they drive me insane, but they produce some incredible matchups, and whenever I win games on these sliders, I feel so good. Like, that was a really rewarding feeling. It's moved us up to number 11 in the country, so we're back in the playoff picture, but you know who is coming up on the schedule now. It is undefeated 7-0 Ohio State. Of course, I forced the results to get them to the record they would have had if this was real life, just based off when I'm filming this. But since then, they beat Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin. And alongside them, undefeated in conference play, Oregon still is as well. Indiana's at 4-1, Michigan, Nebraska, both at 4-1, USC 3-1. So our shot at making it to the conference championship is pretty much not there. Whenever it comes to if we're going to get in the playoffs this season or not, though, I think we have to win against the Buckeyes because a 9-3 non-Big Ten champion, it's going to be a long shot. That would not be controlling our own destiny. Now, from the looks of it, we're going to be getting ourselves a big noon kickoff, which I think for Ohio State, Penn State is disrespectful. Put this at night. This is a huge game, and they're just going to start it off with a 2-yard loss. On 2nd and 12, we're prepared for another run because they had so many guys over there. And that's going to get them 7. I am truthfully worried about what Jeremiah Smith could do to us in this game. But look at that. We have forced a 3-and-out. That is what we needed against the Buckeyes. And we're going to see how our first offensive drive can go. Now, if we set ourselves up nice, it'd be better. I can't say being at the 35 is the worst spot in the world, but that stadium pulse is already ringing, and Nick Singleton gets 7. If he can get 6 or 7 per carry, we're going to walk away with the win in this game. But then there's going to be ones like that. I'm taking it very seriously, just like the Iowa game. 3rd and short, Drew Aller up the middle. I can't even tell what the play clock was sitting at, but we were able to get off this snap and even spin out a couple of defenders. Now the real question is going to be, what type of RPO do I even have out there on the field? I got no clue what we're doing here. I really don't. Maybe we throw it to R1 though? I saw that pop up, and that's going to get us the first. That was dumb. The hurdle was definitely unnecessary. This jet touch pass, though, out of this formation, it's good. Now we got the perfect setup. This is a dream setup. Nobody's out there. We're going to throw it fast. Our blocks pick up, and that didn't go as well as I was hoping. Maybe what we needed to do was the same thing, but out of the quad set. It gets the same amount. I feel like our game script for this first drive has been pretty solid. We're still going to stay on the field, which is what you want to see. As the game goes on, though, we are going to have to go away from this, and that's where things could get tricky. It's kind of sad, but we have already shown Ohio State a lot of our best plays. And the amount of effort it has taken to march down the field versus this defense was a lot. This is a better start than Penn State got off to offensively versus Oregon, though. We'll just see how long it lasts. A kick return has set the Buckeyes up to have a very good drive. And that run was wide open. We had to make sure they couldn't do it again. I'm even using timeouts so I can match their personnel. I didn't like the defense that we were in. Now, they're going to have Jeremiah Smith. That's going to happen. Unfortunately, we just have to understand there will be plays where there's not much we can do. Then we came out in mid-blitz, and they found the seam immediately. I got it to a cover 3 in time, but that didn't matter that much. We're just going to run it up the middle with Drew Aller. And we should have probably taken this to the end of the quarter instead of handing it off. All things considered, we did get that first stop, which gives us an advantage. As long as we somehow score on every single one of our drives, they can't beat us. But that was a pretty bad missed throw. Held down the button for too long. We hit him with play action. This one laid straight into the hands of Devontae Ross. And we'll see if we can get a stretch going anywhere on the ground. Well, there's Caleb Downs getting in. If he wasn't as good as he is, that would have actually gone really well for us. We're going to hit him with a little RPO, though, a little trickery. Let Reynolds get out in space. This playbook is actually so much fun. There's just so many little gimmicky things in here that are a pain for teams to stop. Having Nick Singleton makes things even better. We're going to send him in motion. Then we're going to hit him with a screen underneath. I feel like that play might have had more potential than I let it. We got our tight end. Come on, Luke in the end zone. It's this defensive side of things where we're going to struggle. I know we might have gotten that early stop. I just don't know if we're going to be able to do it again. Are you serious? He literally just played defense. I was going to be able to click on and get that interception. Hit stick? No, it's a broken tackle. It is a broken tackle, and we missed another. How did things change that quick? When you're playing on the road at a place like Ohio State, those are just things that you can't have happening. I'm not sure I really like any of the looks on this play either, but we're going to go underneath, and there it is. There it is. You know what? Let's see if Drew Aller's got it in him. Does Drew Aller have it in him to have a big game? There might have been some other reads out there, but we tried to keep it smart. Our wide receiver screen underneath is going to allow us to get 5 more. And the offense we have been running in this game, I don't know. I'm really liking it. Here's where we might run into an issue, though. 2nd and 8. I didn't like the audibles that they weren't letting me make. So we just had to get out the quick read. It's going to be a direct snap. Blocks are there. Katron Allen. Katron Allen caught. That was almost it. I can't believe that he got caught there. But he's going to get open, and we're going to put it straight into his hands on the next play. Now Ohio State's just going to use timeouts, though, which is so annoying. I don't want them to get the ball back to end this half, and they're going to stop the run. You know what? We're going direct snap up the middle on 3rd and goal. Let's send it. Let's send it. That might be my favorite play in this playbook. We're going to have to prevent the Buckeyes from getting a touchdown, though. That's the difficult thing we got to do at the end of this first half. And let's see. They only have a few routes out there on the field. We had someone right there. Really? This is such a game-changing possession. We can't let them get a field goal out of this drive. I don't think they're going to, though. Maybe they will. They're going to get up to the line and probably spike the ball in time. Wait. How'd they get the kicking unit out there so quick? Catch it. Catch it. Did something just glitch out? Because I'm almost positive that was their quarterback that was kicking there. What is James Peoples doing holding the kick and Julian Sayin doing attempting it? We got receivers like Jeremiah Smith up here on the line blocking. I have never seen anything like that. I was like, there was no way that that was their kicker that got onto the field that fast and attempted it. Well, we got what we wanted. We made sure they didn't get any extra points at the end of that half. Nick Singleton's currently averaging only a few yards per carry, but he's doing a lot better on the jet touch passes. And I have no idea what play I have been calling. I can't believe that this just worked for that much. The stadium pulse is pretty brutal. We're going to go with Wildcat. Nick Singleton on the ground, getting 15. I don't know how we just got away with that, but they're getting aggressive. Ohio State is not a fan of all of the plays we've been running recently. We're just going to take our flat. We're not going to go down immediately because Luke Reynolds is him. But we are going to be on a 3rd and 9, and I have a bad feeling about how this is going to go. Katron Allen got out, though. That's all that we wanted. He might have literally just lost his life on the field, but that's okay. Nick Singleton can come back out. I can't even stem the RPO down that I wanted to throw here. I probably waited way too long to make that read. And I seriously cannot believe how good our offense has looked in this game. Oh, this could be it. Get through that. Okay, I think what we have figured out is if we're within a couple of yards, we go with this direct snap out of Wildcat and let Katron Allen go to work. It really didn't work there for us, though, so we're just going to have a couple drags on the field. And there it is. There it is. They basically just ran a pick play on each other. That was a statement drive for sure. Ohio State's just running it. And I got in very quickly by accidentally clicking onto somebody. I'm not sure how that happened, but I would love to know how to replicate it. Can we get a hit stick? I know we have double the points of the Buckeyes, but I'm still not feeling great about it. I've been in this situation on this game too many times to know that in the fourth quarter, they're about to come out and give us their best performance. Here we are, 2nd and 9. They throw it out wide. Jeremiah Smith gets brought down. And this is how aggressive I'm deciding to be. It's stupid only if it doesn't work. We picked it up too. That might actually seal the game. We got it back. We just need to hang on to it for a bit longer. And Julian Sayin froze up because there were multiple wide open players that could have scored a touchdown there. I have once again found another weird formation. Escort zone toss. The blocking did not work. That was really disappointing. 3rd and 6. Are they going to guard our wide receiver screen? They did. Okay, I might have gotten a little bit too excited too soon because there's still 5 minutes left. I know we just got a big stop, but Ohio State's got to be mad. This is just not a game that the Buckeyes would lose to Penn State. I think they've won like the last 10 of them. James Franklin is looking to get that big win, though, and we're one step closer. As long as they keep on trying to run the ball, we're going to be okay. It was play action. That was a great call there. From this point, I'm expecting some more throws through the air. But that just doesn't get them far. Like, whenever they decide to do that, I'm perfectly fine with it. We gave up the seam, but no one ran up it. And he's still on his feet after multiple tackle attempts? When trying to close out a game, this is just what we're going to have to be up against. And it's started. The hurry up has started. Don't try that. Don't try it. We can't force a fumble. On 3rd and 3, I wish I could play that underneath, but I simply can't. We're there. We're there. Oh, he catches it. He was going to drop it, but it eventually fell into his hand. And with a 1st down, we're going to be getting the biggest win of the season for Penn State. Luke Reynolds is out there. Oh, he's trying to get more. Even if Ohio State gets a stop now, it's going to be almost impossible for them to come back. Don't fumble, Drew. They'd have to get lucky with an onside kick, and I can't tell how much time's left on the clock, so we just had to hike it real quick. But we're going to pick up the 3rd and 9, so it's over. I can't believe that this is how this one went. But it just makes that loss to UCLA even more shocking. The fact that we lost to UCLA, we could be ranked like #1 in the country. I guess Oregon would still be above us, maybe Georgia too, but instead, we're sitting down here at number 6. We might be able to lose to Indiana and still get in. Now, I would prefer if that didn't happen because we still have to play the Hoosiers, the Spartans on the road, Nebraska, and Ruckers. All of those games which could end up being competitive, and we're still sitting all the way down here at number 7 in the Big Ten. We just had to deal with playing on the road. Now we get to go back to our home stadium. And the energy has completely shifted to what it was a few weeks ago. Faith and hope has been restored in this team. Penn State has actually won a big one. And look at how aggressive I'm about to come out. I saw the press. Now, I don't know if Trevor Pina is going to fully dust this corner. You need to catch that at least. But oh well, at least we know that should be there throughout the game. I think we're just going to have our tight end because there's no way the linebacker was getting back to it. And look at this lineup. You're not going to do this. You're not going to give us a second chance for Trevor Pina to beat you deep. He might not have caught the first ball, but this one isn't going to be his either. Okay, well, the Indiana cornerbacks have earned my respect after those plays back to back. And it is 3rd and 10. Now, we might be able to hit Hudson. We'll see where that corner plays. Most likely, though, we're just going to have to punt. So at least we should be able to pin them back here. He's not getting over to that ball. Come on. Come on. Talk about a perfect punt. I don't know what Indiana's going to do. I am willing to fully sell out to just stop them for a safety. Come on. Come on. There it is. There it is. We just turned a bad end to our first offensive drive into 2 points and getting it back. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense why Iowa takes their special teams so much more seriously. It's so easy to get wrapped up in just offense and defense that you can forget special teams is a big part of football, and we got our tight end going to the 5. This is heartbreaking for Indiana. They did everything right. But I will admit, I am mad after that. That should have easily been a catch. Oh well, Nick Singleton's in the end zone. And I'm not sure when the video is going to release where I fall in love with the Georgia playbook, but all of that is going out the window. It is Penn State's that I really like. On 3rd and 8, the hitch is not there. There's just too much time, I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to get to the marker. Well, they didn't, and they're not running a fake punt. So we have an opportunity to go up 16-0. Now we need some decent blocks here. We could get a good return. That's what I'm waiting for at least. I want to get one of those this season. Tight end keeps it for nothing. Penn State doesn't have Tyler Warren here anymore, so it's probably not a good idea to keep on running that. It's already 3rd and 10 as well, but look at how open Reynolds looks. We got some motioning going on, but I think we're just going to pound it to him up the seam. Snap the ball, Drew. Okay, thank you. Thank you. At least he layered the ball well. This is another interesting 5-wide formation. We got Nick Singleton on a halfback screen, but he started over on the left side of the field. Will he catch it? He does. And the blocks are there. Oh, the blocks are there. We're going to be able to get to the 15 or the 10. Now it's time to let Katron Allen get involved. I think we got to throw this ball almost immediately, which we've done here. Oh, he got leveled. What I'm starting to pick up on is the jet touch pass out of this formation is nuts. Never mind. That is also getting stopped. So maybe that entire formation is just kind of busted. On 3rd and 16, Drew Aller just gives it back to him. That's just not the read that we need out of him there. We had a great opportunity to go up by 12 still. Even if we didn't get the 3rd and long, we still would have had some more points. But we messed up that opportunity, and I am hoping that the Hoosiers don't take advantage of it. Our cover 4 quarters is not working as well as I would like it to. That was such a great block from that lineman. I mean, he did his job. He had at least 100 pounds on that kid. No way. No way. We're going to get to that. Harris is ball hawking. Come on. Get out of there. If he doesn't get caught, we'll take that 16-0 lead. Our defense is scoring more than our offense in this one. There is nothing better than getting a pick 6. You know what? We're going to go for 2 as well. Look at this. We got the numbers over there. All we got to do... Wait. Why did they run away? They literally just did not block. And I'm so confused because we've seen them block on that play really well. That just made going for 2 there pointless. I'm really disappointed. He's keeping it. Let's hit him. Fumble. Come on. Fumble. What more do I say? Let's just get back on the offensive side of things. Going for 2 really ruined all the momentum we had. It was not the best decision I've ever made, but we have a wide open Luke Reynolds. Now, they were saying that this wasn't a catch somehow, but they're reviewing it. So I'm assuming they're going to look at this. They're going to see that his foot got down, which it clearly did. And that's going to put us at midfield with 5 minutes left in the first half. Ideally, this is the last drive. That's what I'm shooting for at least. It's going to be pretty hard to pull off, but we're looking underneath. And we're going to break off of that tackle. Using Nick Singleton is awesome. I've never used a running back this good in this game. They're saying the way that we caught that, though, makes it 4th and 1, which I'm really just not happy about. And Drew Aller is going to have to make sure he doesn't throw any interceptions on this drive, because that would ruin it. The whole point of it is Indiana doesn't see the ball again in the second quarter, and we go up by 2 possessions. But now it's 3rd and 4, and I'm throwing that slant. We got it. Okay, so far we've been relatively slow, but we're going to have to start moving it a little bit quicker. There's just a minute left now. And I think we might have Trevor Pina. They're still trying to press him. It didn't work earlier on in this game. It wasn't there now either, but I believed it would be. We got the motion set up, and we're open. We just had Drew Aller that stepped up, made a good throw with the dude in his face, and go celebrate with the cheerleaders, buddy. You deserve it. The hard part about ending this half in the best way possible, though, is we have to make sure the Hoosiers don't score. And Lane almost gave them a lane there by biting down the way that he did. It's going to be 3rd and 1. I don't know if I love getting this aggressive. It's actually really dumb for us to do, but we force a fumble. I swear if they scoop this up and run back, if they somehow got to the marker there would have been an issue. He panicked, though. The same dude that had a 50-yard rushing touchdown where he trucked like 3 of our defenders, he panicked at the sight of a little bit of a blitz. And we're going to try and get a field goal out of this as well. Come on. I'm actually so proud of the way that we've started to play against the Hoosiers. This isn't good. That is going to run a lot of time off the clock. Maybe we just chuck it up with Drew Aller. 50-50. See what he can do. I mean, he's got the arm to reach the end zone. Can we catch this? Maybe not, but we're going to look for Hudson here. We're going to try and stretch their defense out. And I think we got Hudson. Come on. Come on. At least we know Drew Aller has a strong enough arm to just throw up this Hail Mary. So we'll go to the end zone. He might have thrown it too far, which is crazy. That makes it 22-7 at the half. Still a very, very good first half out of us. The running game just has not been there for us, though, which is why I'm surprised we're doing this well. This is the biggest game that is still left on our schedule. If they tested us there, we would have had a pick. Instead, they threw it into triple coverage, and they had success, which is the worst part about it. I like how we were able to knock the ball out there, though. Oh my gosh, make that tackle. Whenever they pull out these RPOs, they are such a pain. Don't scramble. 50-50. We got this. We got it. I'm surprised that they're punting from the 40-yard line. It's 4th and 3. That is very good news. It is our turn to just establish the run. As I'm snapping this next one, though, I've noticed Drew Aller's not in, and we can actually just take off. Wait, I just found a great play. It's the one that I said was my favorite because it gave me the option to throw in the seam or the bubble with an extra blocker. There's another element to it now. I can literally just run. This is unstoppable. How is this a thing? I feel like pro players would just abuse this. Unless there's an easier way for users to stop it. That is crazy to me. I mean, it's a small sample size, but that looked like something we could have ran every single time. On 2nd and 7, I am going to try and go to the end zone. We're going to go for the aggressive catch, but they knocked it out. And here's the thing. I don't need to force this in here. If we only get a field goal, so what? I did not know we were handing it off, but we still get into the end zone. Nick Singleton is just that good at football. I cannot believe that we just got a touchdown out of that. We're probably going to stop him again. And it's looking like we're about to improve to 7-2 with Penn State. They're just sending this up. And I'm deflecting it, but they're going to hit us with a flag. That's so annoying. Just because I barely bumped him, it's going to be PI. Though I still don't think Indiana has too much hope left in this game. And we just sent somebody when I was trying to stop the quarterback, which is going to lead to them getting a big gain. I don't like that when you're in man-to-man coverage, it'll just send somebody that is already guarding someone to go after the quarterback. That could have been so much worse than it was technically, and we just left him open. With the ball back and still over a quarter left, this game isn't done. I wish it was, but they're about to force a 3-and-out unless we hang on to that ball. It looks like it popped out, but the ref said it was a catch. And they would have had to look at it over the break between quarters, so it must have really been one. The longer we can keep this ball away from Indiana, the better. We really don't need that many more first downs. We might even try and go for a deep ball every so often. It's not going to be there, but underneath, Hudson got so much separation. Indiana's defense has been really bad against us. Though I don't know if it's their defense or it's the fact our offense has gotten better. Either way, I'm not even risking throwing an interception on this drive. We're literally handing it off. We're going to set things up down the middle, and we're going to make sure that Indiana can't come back in the final 3.5 minutes. That was all that we needed to win this game, and to close it out, we have improved to 7-2 on the year. And if we keep on climbing our way into this top 4, we could get a bye in the playoff. To get one of those top 4 spots, you no longer have to be a conference champion, which I don't think we're going to be. You can see there's still a few teams that would need to lose for us to even have a chance at getting a tiebreaker. And there are 9 or 8 teams from the Big Ten that are currently ranked. The conference is starting to look a little bit deeper. We're about to head on the road for the battle for the land grant against Michigan State. And the last thing I want to point out beforehand is I don't think it was expected, but we have nobody that's in the Heisman watch list. There just hasn't been anybody on this team that has put up the stats that would justify them being there. Maybe Nick Singleton if he keeps going off. But even then, he's only getting like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. The last time these two teams faced off, it was straight BTA 42-0. But we fumbled on the first play. That just cannot happen. I'm glad that we recovered it. We're going to have it back, and Drew Aller's going to make a really nice throw. But we almost got off to a horrendous start. With that in mind, I think it's time to bring it out. The jet touch pass, where Nick Singleton just has to make those kids miss. And he had an opportunity to be gone there. I mean, our blocks are holding up so well. He breaks through 2 dudes, gets into the end zone, and it could be a long day for the Spartans. This is how it should be, though. Penn State is a good team. I didn't even feel the need to click on there. We are going to have to get out to the running back. Maybe not. It's now 3rd and 4, and it's a bad pass from Aiden Childs. That is how I wanted our defense to open up this game. A halfback screen to Nick Singleton gives him another opportunity to have a huge play for us. He might have had a fumble to start this game, but ever since then, he has looked incredible. And Michigan State, they just don't know what to do to stop this offense. I think they're about to send 6, which means we're going to have to get this ball out really fast. It's going to be pick 2. Never mind. No eyes, no picks. After that, we'll see what they can put together here. It's going to be a 7-yard run. But you can just feel the life in this stadium already gone. I can't imagine we happen to get them off the field again here. But we're in there to stop the run, and they still get the first. Like, that is an awesome play, but seriously, we called it right. We had the right defense, and they still were able to turn it into a big game. And that is why I don't mind sending 7 whenever I want to get pressure. There's a fumble as well. We're going to scoop this up. Durant, no one around him. 21-0. Just get in. This game is looking like it's going to be worse than it was in real life last year, and Michigan State already lost badly. But this is good. It lets me know that I'm getting in a rhythm again. 3rd and 6. We're just going to use the safety over the middle, and I don't think that's going to work. We're all over it. Once again, the Spartans just fail to do anything good versus us. Drew Aller is airing it out to end this first quarter, and I respect that so much. That could have been a huge gain. We're going to break the tackle with Ross. And is anyone going to be able to catch him? Because I don't think so. I think it's about to be 28-0. I'm going to be honest. Whenever you take a lead like that in a game, it's very hard to mess it up. And even when we make mistakes like that, where it's very clearly nothing else we could do there, we're still able to take our 3. Stay in front by a good bit and ultimately preventing them from scoring until the 4th quarter. This is very soft from them, but they're sending out their field goal unit so they don't get held to 0 2 years in a row. And there was just nothing more to see out of this rivalry win. 40-6, it's the most dominant win we have had all season and probably will. What's going to be interesting to me is whether or not we can keep that up when number 14 Nebraska comes to town. And even though this is a massive game, there's not going to be any special crowd theme for it. Last week, Drew Aller had one of his best games of the year, and I'm hoping he can do the same in this one, though Nick Singleton needs to play well too. He was a big factor in why the game started the way that it did. That's going to be a knocked away throw. But guess what? This play is so sweet, especially if they run man-to-man coverage. We got guys that'll just get wide open. Somebody is going to be there for us. We're just going to hit him with the halfback screen next. Nick Singleton's going to lose 4. And ultimately, we should probably go away from throwing the ball as much as we are. Our wheel route was not there. Our next drive is going to feature a lot more running on 3rd and 13. I'm going to send this. We knew that we were taking pressure there. We're not going to make the catch. And I don't know why we keep on thinking Pina's going to outrun these guys deep, because he hasn't for weeks. Apparently, Jamarian Parker, okay, that was all throughout the season. I thought that said he did it in one game. If he was coming off of a 400-yard rushing game, I would have been terrified. That just is not the case, though Nebraska getting an explosive play already. This is not the same awful broken offense that we just faced off against when we played Michigan State. And there were touchdowns on that play that they should have had for sure. Now it's 3rd and 18, and they're just going to run the ball because they want to settle for a field goal. We better not give up the 1st down. They got closer than I would have liked, but we didn't. And that kick, is it going to go in? It might just hit the upright. Come on. It's not going in. I know I said I was going to run the ball more on this drive, but just hear me out. Hear me out. Did we get him? No, we didn't. This should be intercepted. It's bouncing. It was in his hands. Okay, I just had to get that out of my system. We let Katron Allen take it, but it seems like we're going to get held to a 3 and out unless we can run a successful comeback. Next up, it's just all going to be about the numbers game. We'll do some smarter things again. We'll run some RPOs, and we're going to sail the throw. Drew Aller, come on, buddy. Come on. There's just no reason for you to miss somebody that poorly. That should have easily been 15. It's not even my fault. It's not close to my fault. We can't knock it loose. On 2nd and 3, I was assuming that they just run it, but instead they threw. And I really don't like how aggressive this is going to be, but we had to. Between being that aggressive and having the stadium pulse on our side, I didn't think Dylan Raiola was going to be able to do much with it. But what about our offense? It's been a really, really big letdown in this game so far. Even in Wildcat, nothing good has come from it, and this is not going to go anywhere. On 3rd and 10, it looks like we might just have Hudson, but I want to see how they respond. We got the numbers over there right now. Let's hike it, get it out there quick, and you got to turn up field so you can get some positive gains. I've never tried to run the verticals out of this formation, but I feel like it could actually be lethal. There's just a chance that Nick Singleton can catch this, so we had to throw it. When I saw a linebacker came down to guard him, I figured we'd be able to playmaker and outrun him. And I actually really like this play. With all the motions and the RPOs, it throws teams off. I hit the wrong button. I've done that twice now. I needed to hit R1 to throw it. It wouldn't have been a big gain anyway, but Drew Aller's playing poorly. Look at what it says on the scoreboard, though. It says 1st and goal. Why does it say 1st and goal? They're on the 6. Unfortunately, it did end up fixing. The marker was in the correct spot. The run doesn't go for far. But can you imagine if they treated this as a real 3rd and goal and they'd have to punt if they weren't able to get into the end zone? 50-50 ball here. I just can't. I cannot stand the fact that it'll just suck you into a different animation. I click on, and all of a sudden, they got all this separation. We caused him to get the separation on this play. And I'm going to run commit on this next one, but they just had that. The fact that we still haven't scored versus Nebraska is really scary because we just played our hearts out against Michigan State. Now I'm wondering, do we have it deep? I thought we had a chance at it. Nope, we're going to take a sack. Whenever I start playing poorly offensively, all I want to do is just sling the rock. Nick Singleton's going to have to make up for that huge loss of yards, which he does, plus a lot more as he's still on his feet. No turnovers for Drew Aller on this drive. No mistakes, no gimmicks. We have to keep things a little bit more simple, and that's fine. We can probably just end this first half tying things up because I doubt they're going to start calling timeouts. Here's the question, though. It looks like the play clock is going at the same speed as the game clock. Is this going to hit the 2-minute timeout first? I don't think that's going to be a flag. It was really hard to tell. We have him. We have Luke, but we didn't block. And we've run this play a few times this season. Sometimes the screen gets open. I didn't trust it to there. But now that's put us on a 4th and 4 that, honestly, all we have to do is just scramble for the first. Then it hit me. What about this formation? We haven't run this in a while. What happened to our guy on the bubble? That's ridiculous. The whole thing just fell apart. He should have been open. Oh, well. Maybe the Penn State playbook's not that great whenever some of these plays aren't working. Do we send this up or do we throw it away? There's a real strong urge sometimes to just throw it no matter what. I almost did there. You know what? Why not? I guess we're going to have to settle for 3. We couldn't get a touchdown out of that drive. I'm really hoping Nebraska just takes things to the half, but they're throwing it, so they're going to try getting field goal range. Or maybe they're not. They've let it run down to only a few seconds left. This is going to be the final play, and there's just no way they scored a touchdown. There is a lot to be disappointed about with how those first 2 quarters went. I will say that. But I think our defense has played a very good game so far. And whenever they're playing that well, it gives me some faith for how the rest of this is going to go as we get the pick. I don't care that you're injured, Zane Durant. There are more important things to do, like celebrate. We don't deserve to be in this spot with the way that we have played in this game so far. But who cares? We should have known Nebraska would find a way to mess this up. Using Playmaker, we can get a little extra room to run. This is where the Drew Aller interceptions have come, though, inside the red zone. We need to be careful. The mistakes, the bad reads, everything. That's why checkdowns are very important, and Katron Allen is going to be the guy we go to here. If Luke Reynolds could just get open on this play, it'd make our lives so much easier, and he gets into the end zone. Penn State back in front. Let's just beam it at the fans to celebrate. I'm going to talk about it in another video because I was just filming that earlier. But when Kentucky was playing South Carolina this weekend, one of our guys ended up beaming it in celebration at a guy in the stands, and I think it was Lenora Sellers' granddad. You all were tagging me in it because it was my favorite team doing my favorite celebration in this game, just beaming it, slinging it at a fan in the crowd for absolutely no reason. But what made it so bad is I'm pretty sure his granddad was in a wheelchair. I can't condone it, and everything about watching that game, it was painful. I really don't want to talk about it. They have someone wide open. Dylan doesn't see it. What a blessing. We get the sack, we're getting the ball back, and it's almost like that entire first half didn't happen because Nebraska's offense is so incompetent. This is the play that Drew Aller really messed up, so we're not going to throw it to the tight end up the seam this time. We are going to look for Hudson on this wheel, though, just because if they fall for the play action, he has the opportunity to beat them deep. These are the types of plays you want to see. Come on, dude. If we give you a chance to make a play like that, you've got to be able to hang on to the football. That wasn't the best throw in the world. And it looks like the Cornhuskers are about to get us off of the field. Unless Drew Aller can take off, you're going to have to fight through those dudes. Okay, with the way defenses are playing, this might be really dumb. I'm so confused at what they're running, though. I feel like everyone is lost at what's going on here. Come on. He's open. We go for it on 4th and 1, and we're going to be in the end zone. I audibled around. I wanted to run the jet touch pass originally until I saw what they were in. And I can't get over how many fun things are inside this Penn State playbook. I'd love a halfback direct snap like that, though. I need one of those that's not out of Wildcat. Nebraska's about to get back-to-back huge gains. It took Jamarian Parker all game to do something. Now he is. We're getting the interception with Campbell. I'm an idiot. There is a reason we fumbled. I thought that we might be able to get off a lateral and return it for 6, which would have been epic. You know what would not have been epic, though? If Nebraska was able to get the ball back there and get this game close again. So I'm glad that's how it worked out. We just gave it back to him anyway. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is the worst game Drew Aller has played all season, and now they're right back in it. I really can't believe that we just threw that pick. I think we were just having too much fun with this team. Come on. Come on, get the sack. There was a lot of stuff that didn't really look right about that play, but we got the result that we wanted. And do we think this is smart on 3rd and 15? I don't know. It is. It is. Dylan Raiola just sends up a prayer. We get to run under it, and Harris is probably going to be gone to the crib for a pick 6, all because we blitz. I can't believe that's what that play just turned into. The flipping on the man-to-man coverage, though, little bit of an issue. Oh, well, it is 3rd and 9, and they're just going to beat our cover 2 like that? No. I want to end the game right now. Let's send 7. No time. No time. What's interesting is when I've been that aggressive, I've been beat off of that a lot. I feel like it hasn't happened to us that often this season, though. They're going to stop us. We could just kick a field goal, but I'd much rather have a chance to keep the clock running and Nick Singleton makes that a reality. He's tough. He has been one of my favorite running backs to use on this game. And if you want to talk about anything over the last couple weeks, talk about our defense. A couple really good performances are going to make us 9-2, where I think we're going to get that first round bye. Oregon lost to #1 USC, so they've jumped up there. And I guess that opens up the door for us to actually get to the conference championship. We're just going to need 2 of these 3 teams to lose this week during rivalry week. So Michigan's going to be playing Ohio State. Oregon is going to be playing Washington. But UCLA is going to be who's taking on the Trojans. As for us, we're just going to be traveling to the birthplace of college football. And this really isn't too bad of a matchup for us to have to end the season. The only thing I'm hoping for is Drew Aller can cut back on the picks. And let's see. Are we going to open up this game with a bomb just because we can? It would have been there. I'm pretty confident it would have at least. Maybe we need to be a little bit better against Ruckers. We don't need to just be going for huge plays right off the rip. That's the type of stuff their defense is giving up, though. Drew Aller was just able to rush for 30 yards, and I feel like Hudson had the step. I can't help myself. I have to look deep, though I didn't see the extra safety back there. So we definitely deserve to be on this 3rd and 10. We're just going to run it up the middle. Drew Aller on the ground has been our entire offense. I was going to go with the halfback screen out there, but this is the defensive look they came out in, so it was very obvious to me that we just needed to run the same play back. I'm not sure if they're going to adjust or not. I mean, it looks like we could do it a 3rd time in a row, but at the same time, we got the numbers. And then they move more guys over, so this is perfect. All we got to do, throw it out there quick, and let Nick Singleton pick up 6. This is an even better version of the play, though, because we get to either run or we could throw the RPO. I can't believe I wasn't running this sooner. I am just starting to master plays in this Penn State playbook as well. I am just sure that there's a lot I'm missing out on, but maybe we'll figure out more. There's still another few games left in this video, probably. We know no matter what, we're going to be in the playoffs for sure. Don't catch that. It's a pick. Never mind. We need a catch out of it. But if we're not in the conference championship, the playoffs are going to be after this, and I don't know how long those are going to last for us. Playmaker, come on. Come on. We're about to step out of bounds. The fact that we didn't is incredible. Okay, now we can run this back. It all depends on how they play it. It looks like they're going to expect a draw. So we hit Nick Singleton. This is so much better. Maybe I'm tripping out, but this might be the best play in the game. You just get to watch the defense, see how they react, and they're just never going to have the numbers. If I ever coach football, I would literally just spam the same thing. Until they stop it, it's getting spammed. And I know there are definitely more high school coaches than anything that'll do that. Or even you get to the even younger leagues, that's when it can get really crazy and frustrating. Especially when you just got that one guy that is so much more oversized and faster than everyone else out there on the field. If you have to sit there and question, is this kid actually 12? He probably isn't. How is he still on his feet? Oh, well, we got it back anyway. We're going to cut this one back. And what did I say I won? I won a punt return in this video. The kicker is not making a kicker tackle here as we go up 21-0. This is starting to look a lot like the Michigan State game where it's just going to end early. If we can just score on this next drive, I think it will. What if we don't even need another drive, though? What if we can just get another punt return versus them? That was setting up to potentially be one, but unfortunately, we're getting hit with holding. I am still really curious on if this would actually work the entire way down the field, because it seems like it would. But I think it's important to get some other variations out of this playbook, like a passing play, where we're just hitting them deep, and Ross is going to not outrun one guy, but 2. As this game has gone on, Ruckers hasn't scored, and they punted it to us on 4th and 4. I thought we were going to have to get one final stop against them, but that just wasn't the case. We're walking away with a great ending to this regular season. And if there's one thing I can say about this year, this might be one of the worst Heisman stat lines I've ever seen. We got lucky with a first-round bye alongside USC and Oregon, so 3 of the 4 first-round byes went to Big Ten teams. And I don't know who at EA decided that they were just going to juice up the Duke playbook in Sim, but they are a blessing right now. We could have had to face off against Georgia, but no, Duke put up 46 against them, so that's who we get in the quarterfinal. I'd like to think of all the teams in the Big Ten with that draw, we might have the best shot at winning it all. Ohio State not getting in, that's pretty crazy. You would think that they would have beat Michigan. This is Drew Aller's final stat line. I think 3 or 4 of those interceptions came against Nebraska. Rushing wise, Nick Singleton over 1,000 yards, but he didn't have as many touchdowns as Katron Allen. And then receiving wise, Trevor Pina was number 1 with Devontae Ross as our number 2, and then Nick Singleton is our number 3 over tight end Luke Reynolds. Depending on how far we can make it in a playoff run, a lot of those stats could change. Duke averages a little bit more points per game than us, but we are Penn State. we have the better team on paper. If this video starts with a loss to UCLA and ends with a loss to Duke, that's losses to 2 basketball schools that Nittany Lion fans would not accept. But I'm not sure if we're going to run into that issue. I got some good sleep, so now everything in this playbook is fun again. We're going to ditch it out. Katron Allen goes nowhere. But I just realized we could run a speed option out of Wildcat. This has the potential to go for a huge gain. It's just always Katron catching it. He's the slower of the 2 backs, making it 3rd and 5, but it won't matter. We move the chains. We're going to get Nick Singleton loose now as he cuts upfield. And I'm wondering if Luke Reynolds getting out in motion is going to confuse that defensive lineman. We had to make a read, and we just busted off of that tackle. Bouncing off like that has set us up with a 1st and 10, where I think we got Deontay Ross deep. They were pressing, and that's exactly how we needed to open up against Duke. Their offense might be a little bit of a pain to stop. We'll see how that goes. It's definitely going to be a lot of throws through the air, and we're missing tackles. We can always bring out double mug, though, and just give up the freest touchdown of all time, potentially. This is why you can't just be sending out these all-out blitzes, because this is what happens. They've immediately responded. Now we're going to hand this one off. See if we can get anything. I'll take 6-7 yards per carry. That'll always be solid. What's surprising me the most, though, is they're pressing Devontae Ross again. And I don't know if they have safety help over on that side. There's a flag on this play, so even if we did happen to catch it, which we do, I already know it's coming back. There was holding. It's the reason that we had that much time. With it now being 1st and 20, we're just going to playmaker over those zones, stand in the pocket, and potentially throw a pick. It deflects into their hands. The game just started 5 minutes ago, and Drew Aller is already selling. So is our defense. The last time we got this aggressive, we gave up a touchdown, though we're out there to just not make a play. Can anyone bring down Mensa? Clicking off of tacklers is clearly not the move. But here's the thing. We're sending 7, and they only have 5 guys blocking. That can't be it. That can't be it. 3rd down. We're in the hole. It's just like Duke's going to put up a good performance. We had them stop there, and it just didn't matter. So maybe I was a little bit overconfident for a game that could be closer than we were all thinking. For whatever reason, that's how these playoff matchups always go. I see the small schools, the schools that aren't normally there, and I'm like, that's going to be easy. They then give us a great game, but a team like Georgia or Oregon, we can walk all over, and it never makes much sense. I am probably passing it more than we should be as well, but it's because I keep on seeing their press coverage out there, and I just trust that Drew Aller's going to put it in the right spot. Well, he did there, but we just didn't catch it. The man-to-man coverage, we got routes running into each other, which has allowed Hudson to get open. And I see this game just turning into a massive shootout. I think it's only fair that we bring out this play again as well, where we have the option to run or pass. Luke Reynolds is going to fumble on the 1. And it's such a weird formation. We got someone in motion. What are we going to do here? I don't think we can throw it. It didn't catch the defense off guard. But what about this play? It seems like this is just going to be one of the most overpowered things I've ever seen in my life. We're running it again. We'll flip sides of the field so that can confuse Duke a little bit. It's going to be caught somehow. And let's see. Do we think our defense is going to come out playing any better? No. It's not. I'm already giving up on the idea of being able to run mid-blitz a bunch. Instead, we're going to stick and cover 4 quarters and shoot the run hole. We're going to get the interception with Lane, and Lane is going to put us up 21-14. Just like that, we are back out in front. And this might be my favorite look that I can give this team. It starts in cover 4. We move it over to cover 3, though no one is making a tackle. Anderson Castle has had 2 carries for a lot of yards. And let's see, what are they going to have on 2nd and 10? I feel like I need to be watching over the middle of the field. We're good. Here we go. 3rd and 8. I thought we were about to get the sack. They get the throw out instead, though. And they're at the 15. Duke is currently getting their money's worth, paying Tulane to get Mensa to transfer there. That was a really frustrating play to see. We gave up the drag underneath, and he has way too much time. He's just going to be able to run. This is why I typically feel like I need to be sending blitzes. I'm stuck on the safety, and we still have a minute left in this first half. If they hit this kick, I'm hoping we can respond back with one of our own. Keep it at a 7-point game since I think we got the ball first. With a little playmaker help, Drew Aller is going to be able to get a huge completion here. This is what we needed. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. The wide receiver screen underneath gets us 5. And now we're going to see if Luke Reynolds is going to be able to pick up the first down. He fumbled? He's fumbled twice. Why is he so bad at hanging on to the football? I'm a little worried that using verticals, they're going to be able to get a big pickup. That's why I had one of our linebackers manned up in the first place. But that turnover just changed everything. get that sack. Without a play like that, Duke would have 100% scored points to end this first half. Instead, we're still going to have our 4-point lead. It just could have been more. And the fact that we fumbled that away is really bad. That is a game-changing play. It was a good play from the Duke defender, I guess. But it's not like we've had an issue with fumbling until this matchup. Now we can't just hang on to the ball. They also have us completely spread out here, and I brought down someone I shouldn't have. The Duke offense is getting kind of challenging to stop. I see someone that's open. He throws it up. Come on, turn around. Get it. Lane gets another pick. DeJuan Lane is the reason that we are in the position that we're currently in. They should have had one back. And on 2nd and 10, I put the slot fade out there on the field because I've not used those much this year, but it should have worked. We're most likely about to have a 3-and-out where we never even ran the football once. That'll make a nice difference, though. The counter's just going nowhere. We're going to use the bubble pop play and almost throw a pick. This is just not an acceptable playoff performance out of Penn State. We should be winning by a lot more than we are. The fact that we're struggling like this has me very worried for our next matchup. I can't remember who we could play. I think one of the teams was Alabama. Let's see. What do we got out of 4 verticals? Nothing. Drew Aller's going to have to take off here. And he's got a lot of green grass in front of him. Dive to the end zone. Don't fumble. I'm looking at all the bowl games down there on the screen. I'm not seeing anything from Alabama so far, so who knows who we'll be facing. But at least I think we're going to make it there just with the way that we've been playing in the last few minutes. Just after that, it popped up that they beat BYU 47-10. So we're definitely facing the Crimson Tide. I don't know what my answer is going to be to stop this offense, though. On 2nd and 8, they're going to have a couple slants out there, and I'm sure we won't stick with both of them, even though he's like the only guy in the area for those players to guard. I think I'd rather just run some cover 2 man, and this is a chance for a 3rd pick for Lane. I'm trusting our man-to-man coverage. Mensah felt like all he could do was run. I think if we're pressing and pass committing, we should be in a pretty good spot. Maybe not, though, as they're just going to hand it off and get to the 4. On 2nd and goal, it's another run, except this time they're in. The only issue, though, for Duke is there was a flag, and that means it's coming back. What I really want to do in a position like this is just have multiple guys out there giving up touchdowns, I guess. My little test on my defense did not work. But apparently the Blue Devils did not get the 2-point conversion, so at least that's nice. We have already found ourselves on a 3rd and 4, but we're open, and we just needed Hudson to catch it this time. I'm not going to forget about the drop that he had earlier on in this game. Nick Singleton, with a lot of space, is going to get us like 15 yards. See, here's the thing. If they go with some man-to-man coverage, I thought we might get open deep. We really didn't. Trevor Pina can't catch it. I missed the fade routes from last year that would beat man-to-man every time. It was pretty broken. On 3rd and 11, we just got to place that well. And as we inch our way into field goal range, we can basically guarantee that we're going to have an 8-point lead. What would be super nice is if Duke never saw the ball again in this game. That is one of the better RPOs in this playbook. I had to make that read super late, though. I'm not sure if that is always going to be open or if we should be running too. Either way, that was awesome. We got our slant. They knock it out. And this is a big play for us. I'm going to be looking for Katron Allen, who comes down with it and gets in. Now I can go back to testing out the coverage that I wanted to test in the first place. We get our sack. But we're having a bunch of hook curls out there instead of having the cloud flats. This is what I want, though we are shading over top because I don't want to give up anything deep. We're going to have someone that can get out there. And honestly, I think the better way to do this might literally just be out a double mug. They run it, and they're going to break a tackle, but that is not getting it. Duke did their best. They put up a good performance in this game. It's just not going to be enough. All we need is one more first down, and a knee will end this game, which we have. This puts Penn State 2 games away from winning a national championship in the same spot they were in last season in real life. But we're about to have to face some real competition. We're going to have to play Alabama and Ty Simpson, who, after watching this last weekend, might be the best quarterback in the country. That might sound like a crazy thing to say, but he was slinging it. So we're just going to have to see if he can do that same type of thing versus this Penn State defense, where I might have just found my new favorite one. I really think there is something special with that double mug that we're cooking up. But we're going to have to start on offense first before we can figure it out. James Franklin, this is your time to shine. I can't really say I'm going to help him out here. I'm sure there's going to be an interception or two in this matchup that is just inexcusable. And I don't love a missed throw from Drew Aller already, but Nick Singleton can get a lot back. Even though he's been getting like 7 yards per carry recently, I'm so motivated to just throw the ball. And that passing play is coming back due to a holding call. That's so frustrating because now Alabama's most likely going to stop us here. If we made that throw, I would have been impressed. I never thought it was going to get that open. The punt could have gone a lot worse than this for not having a good meter. But how are we going to handle the Crimson Tide? I like the idea of having somebody out there that is able to stop an RPO. But we're going to give up some big runs out of double mug. Bring him down. This could be an awful look, to be honest, though we get the sack. And they're staying out there on trips tight end. We'll get another. See, here's the thing. As long as we don't give up a deep passing play, we're going to be all right. We just got to make this tackle in time. They can kick 3. And I think the mix of blitzes and coverage is really confusing the computer. It's going to be important for us to get the run game going at least, though. Except Alabama's got a solid defense we're running against. So we're just going to dump it off with the halfback screen and pick up the gains there. What I have figured out is if they're going to put this many guys on the line, it's going to open up other parts of the field for us to just dominate like this. And we might even be able to mix in some QB blast, except they forced a fumble. Pick it up. Oh my gosh. Save the numbers there. We should have just passed it out to Nick Singleton in the first place, which we'll do. He's going to have to turn around, though. What a great throw. And on 3rd and 11, I'm looking for him in the flat. That's what we went with. I don't think it's ideal to be going for a 4th and 6 this early on, but it's what we've decided to do. And with enough time, we found Trevor Pina. I think we should just go back to running the football now, out of full diamond, and Nick Singleton gets it done. He can get another carry on the same look here. Then Katron Allen will get in. He'll get his chance at a carry, which is going to go for potentially a touchdown. Push us in. They're saying he was short, but this is something that Drew Aller can just finish off with a QB sneak. And defensively, I'm not sure how I feel about this look completely, but we got a sack. Here on 3rd and 17, I had everyone backed up, but they decided to run with Ty Simpson. Doesn't make that much sense to me, but who cares? We're getting the football back with a chance to go up 14-3. We desperately need that for sure. I know how quick I can be to blow leads in games. This would make a major difference for us. Drew Aller trying to take the top off. It was underthrown, though. That was the real problem. That could have been a huge play for us, but it wasn't. Now it's 3rd and 5, and we might immediately get it out to Nick Singleton, or we're going to find Luke Reynolds underneath. The tight end's going to get a lot more than I was thinking. But we got to pull out the Wildcat at some point, and just handing this off to Katron Allen was exactly what we needed here. Nick Singleton can keep this next one. The blocks are lining up. He's going to get us a first. And if Alabama can't stop the run, then I don't think there's any reason for us to switch things up at all. We're probably just going to go ahead and let him keep it here. Smith, all the space in the world to celebrate on his way in. And that was honestly special for us to watch. Here we go, 2nd and 5. We're in there, stopping the run. This is the type of look that we're giving Alabama, and I think we're just going to have to play Dixon underneath. Watch for anything short, we get the sack. Making the decision to go from sending 4 players to 5 players has been a major difference because we're getting in pressure really quick. That's all that we needed was a bunch of one-on-one matchups until we throw a pick on a wide receiver screen. Everything was going well until that moment, and we knock it out. But that is such a big letdown for us. We're going to pass commit on this play. I think I gave up the seam. On 3rd down, I am a little bit nervous if they're running some sort of vertical. We can get out and pick that ball. This is actually starting to drive me nuts because Alabama's definitely scoring. And we literally had full control of this game, but we messed everything up. Pick it. That's it. I'm sending the blitz on 3rd down. Ty Simpson breaks off 1, but not 2. That's how we're going to keep Alabama at just 6 points. I think our defense is working. More often than not, it seems like we're getting the Crimson Tide in an ideal position. We should have just been running the football on this drive, though, and somehow Katron Allen is going to turn that into a 10-yard gain. We should have been using our running backs like this the entire time. No reason to throw the rock whenever you can just run for it on the ground. Though I am kind of curious, are we able to throw this ball to Nick Singleton? I guess he is technically open. Or Drew Aller could just run. This formation seems so odd. Hang on, I might have actually cooked something up there and I didn't even realize it. So they got 4 guys out. We got our flat. Luke Reynolds, you're going to have to turn upfield, which he does. And let's see, this time, is Nick Singleton going to have the numbers over there? Looks like they've been able to stop him pretty well, but we use a playmaker, and Luke Reynolds can't catch it. I think I'm starting to confuse myself more than help out. We're going to just go to a normal 4 verticals and split the cover 3. Drew Aller. I'm not sure he even wants to win half the time. We should have easily converted there. We're going to scramble on the ground and fumble, but we scoop it up. That's going to put us in a better field goal spot. I 100% meant to slide, but I guess he decided he was going to turn that slide into a dive. Don't miss this kick. Come on. It just bent in. Well, I think we could have been up by more points, but 17-6 is a great position versus Bama. And on 1st and 10, blitz on the first play of their drive. They got a lot of time for a blitz. Ryan Williams is out of there. See, this is the downside of running this type of defense. It said they were going to kick the extra point, which didn't make much sense, but they went for the 2-point conversion, even though I simmed. So we are still up by 5 points, and this is where Nick Singleton is just going to need to take over. What we have discovered is Alabama can't stop our running game They did here. But that is one play. We're going to keep it. And that is a huge run out of K-Tron. I'm a little nervous for this 3rd and inches because they've obviously come out pretty aggressively. But whenever you come out that aggressively and you make the wrong read, it's going to lead to a touchdown. Now we can work on perfecting this defense. I feel like the pass coverage here, it's something that would confuse a user, but for playing the computer, not so much. What we really need to do is if they're blocking 5, just send 7 and get in there. And then go back to sending in like 5 players on 3rd and 5. This is the defensive look that we're giving them. Hitch route's not there, but they have it over the middle. I don't like that I'm going to have to be user in a one-on-one matchup here. We could have picked that. And on 2nd and 10, the seam's open. He stopped. They also had a curl. See, I feel like they've been able to adapt to what we're running. They're starting to just crush our defense. There was a point where it was doing really well, but at the moment, it's just giving up yards. And we can sit here and pass commit. I got to watch for the running back. Make sure that he doesn't end up getting open. Here on 3rd and 5, I guess we're going to send 6, and I'm just going to be responsible for making sure that tight end doesn't get open. They would have had a touchdown, and look at that. They still find the space. Our pressure might have gotten in all game, but it has finally stopped working. For whatever reason, he was wide open, and I might have just figured out a potential strategy in the future. For now, though, we're back on offense, and I see the coverage that they're in. It's got me wanting to test them deep. Devontae Ross, come on. Come on, hold on to the ball. You're a 92. It's just annoying. We should have easily been able to make that catch. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and 10. I should have never gone away from Wildcat. I can just feel all the momentum shifting. And they're going to get a decent return as well. They're going to get more than a decent return. Look at what they're doing. They're motioning before the play, which is just causing all of our coverage to mess up. And they literally just keep on flipping the play call before snapping it every single time. He's wide open. The computer has gotten a lot smarter. I got to give them credit. And we're stuck. We are stuck. Should have never gone away from just running the ball down their throats. I think we're just going to end up keeping this one with Nick Singleton, which was right. But there really is only 3 main plays that we're running out of this playbook, and they're all over it. We've already been aggressive once. I don't mind being aggressive again. It's going to work as long as Drew Aller actually makes a solid read. Alabama started to pick up on everything that we've been doing. They are finally able to counter to it. But little do they know, there's a lot more that we can still decide to cook up. The gimmicky offense is not over. Okay, maybe it slightly is. That was not good at all. But we are going to find Hudson for the first. What we should have been doing is looking at the clock and realizing that we should be chewing part of it. Whether we score the touchdown or only get a field goal, I don't want much time left. Unfortunately, it is looking like we are going to have to kick our 3. Alabama's got us on this 3rd and 14. And they're going to get the sack too. I don't think anybody blocked James Smith there, which is awful. We just made it so easy for them to get us off of the field. And on 2nd and 12, I pass committed because I knew they were probably throwing the rock. This is a really big 3rd and 6. And of course, we give that one up. It's looking like Alabama's going to be able to get into field goal range. Though, get back to that ball. We're going to get back to it with Harris. We got it. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. We're just going to throw this over to Nick Singleton and get 8. Then at some point, we knew they'd go away from having 5 people on the defensive line. So Drew Allard get a big lane. And they just don't seem to want to adjust for whatever reason. We're going to get more. I mean, if they're going to be this stubborn, they're going to learn. We have accidentally run the time all the way down to 2 seconds, though, so we had to call a timeout. And I know this kick is going to be down the middle, but a 43-yarder is not a gimme. No. No! We're headed to overtime. Penn State just can't win a big one. Penn State can't do it. I think it's only right that we start overtime running the same thing that was working well for us at the end of regulation. But maybe we just make it the direct quarterback run and Drew Aller can't fumble. I'm actually sick that this is the position that we're in. Nick Singleton's open underneath. We can get to the 8, and I guess we'll just continue to keep it through the air. They got some man-to-man coverage out there. Drew Aller gets in. With that touchdown, though, everything's going to be 4-down territory for them here. And on 2nd and 4, they're just going to get it out to a tight end quick, get the first. When it comes to getting a stop, I'm stuck, and they're going to have it. But we'll see what we can do on the next drive. Anytime they're going with this spread out look, I feel pretty uncomfortable. I just feel like they're going to shred our defense for an easy completion. And we've left the hitch open. We could pick this. No! Ryan Williams caught that on our head. Now we have to watch out on this 2-point conversion. It's a run. It's a run. We're there. We're there. Okay, at this point, you should know our formula. Nick Singleton, open underneath. Perfect. Perfect. How are they going to adjust? I see 5 guys up there on the line. I think we can get 2 yards out of this. We're just going to have to slide. I already have it in my mind that this game's probably going to end off of a fumble because it doesn't let me slide in time. That was literally what almost happened right there. But now they're bringing down a lot of players to try and stop us. Nick Singleton doesn't have anywhere to go. They're being so aggressive here as well. So we're just going to have to give it to Smith and take it in. I was really curious what they'd come out with as defense down on the goal line. They have the numbers game here. If they send a blitz, Pina's going to be open. Pina's going to be open. Does he catch it, though? He does! He does! We are headed to the national championship with Penn State. James Franklin gets it done. I'm so happy for him. And there's just been this massive weight that's been lifted off of my chest because at least we made it farther than they did last season. Our opponent, though, is going to be USC. They're #1 in the country. They are 14-1. And they've won a national championship a lot more recently than Penn State, but it's still been a couple of decades for them. Both teams are looking to take that trophy home, of course. They desperately want it. And I really don't know what works best for us defensively. Currently, we're sitting in cover 4 quarters, and it's stopping the run pretty well. I'm just hoping that on 3rd and 15, we don't give up anything that would be really bad. They sent it deep, and they almost had it. Everything seems to be working out just good enough for us, though. And I think we might not throw a single pass in this game. I feel like at the end of that game against Alabama, our offense peaked, so I just want to run the same stuff that was working for us that well. And we'll see. Can we just hand this one off to Katron? No, we cannot. It is now 2nd and 15. We get the quick throw out, and they still make the tackle. But the numbers were there. The numbers were on our side, and they're going to be on our side on this play too. There was a point where I thought this play was super good, and now I don't really know how to feel about it. I think it's much better to just run the quarterback direct snap, and if we had someone that was a little bit faster, it'd be very OP. In my opinion, this play's pretty solid as well. We got multiple reads that we are able to make. So that is how you start a game. We're bringing everyone down into the box. They're going to have a chance to hit us deep, and they hit us deep. That was a perfect route for that situation. I think one of our disadvantages might be the fact that Mayava has field general, so he knows what defense we're in. And that means he knows 7 dudes are coming in his face here, but he dumped it out quick. I really don't mind doing this. We get that free rusher in, and at some point, we will watch the computer adapt to that. Once we ran it for about a quarter, Alabama started flipping plays and doing all sorts of stuff. So we just have to know that that's not going to be there forever. Katron Allen could have been gone if we held a couple blocks. Now I think we're just going to hand it off to him again. It wasn't really there, though. They've pinched their line. Drew Aller is still going to be able to pick up the first. I think what's so interesting about this formation is how many guys are able to just get open from that stack. Kyron Hudson is going to the 12. And sometimes we even have enough blockers to just get a one-on-one on everyone. I think this is something that is very hard to stop, which is okay with me. We need our gimmicky offense right now. Katron Allen just avoided those tackles. And I think USC is about to run the football here. Either way, though, we should be getting in. What I've kind of picked up on is man-to-man, whether you're in a blitz or cover 2, it's the best thing you can run against a spread formation. Anything else, the computer might just give up a lot through the seams, and we sat in cover 2. I proved my point by trying to switch things up, though look at that. In there instantly, you certainly cannot complain whenever you get a defensive play going that well. Here's the issue, though. I'm going to have to lurk him over the middle of the field. We somehow got a fumble. Can we scoop this up? I think any time that they have play action on a play, that is when our blitz eats the most. And they have a slant. They have a slant. They also have all the time in the world. They're not going to come close to the marker. But that was what happens when you sit back and just zone coverage and there's a flag. Go ahead. Just bring back the return. We knew we weren't starting that well. It would have been nice to be on like the 45-yard line, but instead, we're just going to have to start this drive on the 7. Now we can start to run the football. I meant to keep that. And here's the thing. I really haven't figured out that many passing plays out of this Penn State playbook that I'm a big fan of. But here, we were able to get a slant wide open. Since USC is playing a 3-3-5, it opens up the opportunity to have some really big runs. But it doesn't always work out that way, and we're just going to look to the side for Devontae. Whenever we got man-to-man coverage looks like that, we have the receivers to be able to pick it up. But what do you mean the ball just popped out there and we almost gave it back to the Trojans? That's one thing these sliders do. It makes you feel like you are handicapped, like there's stuff that is just out of your control as they try and get back into this game. But it keeps it competitive even when you're using some of the best teams in the country. I really do like that. I don't want to know that I can just go in and beat anybody because I've built a good team. College football simply has more parity than that. I'm going to have Singleton, but Drew Aller's going to miss him. That is just not a throw that we can be messing up. I mean, we're going to be starting the second half with the ball, and we still have our 17-point lead. It could be 21 if Trevor Pina comes down with this. And you know what? Maybe I'm feeling a little bit better now. What do we got out of Wildcat, though? Anything. Maybe the speed option goes really well for us. I mean, Nick Singleton's going to be gone before we could even pitch it. And it looks like we're just going to keep getting pressure. I really like this look on 3rd and 17. I'm kind of convinced that if you have your guy on a blitz, the computer doesn't realize he's in coverage. Your user has to be good enough, though, for that to actually make a difference, because we just gave it up back-to-back. I guess our 5-man pressure is just not getting any traction versus USC. So I was hoping that 7 might, which it did. Remember, this is my favorite defense whenever someone comes out in a spread formation. And on 3rd and 11, I'm trying to move Wheatley out there a little bit. I don't want him to give up anything since we're sitting in Tampa 2, but we should be fine. Nothing over the middle. Oh my gosh. I was expecting our other zone to drop down. They might as well just take the points on this drive. I can see it coming. But to be honest, none of that matters if they can't stop us. Here we go. It's 3rd and 19, off the edge. We hit him, and he still got it out. But USC is just lost. They're kicking a field goal, still down 3 possessions. They don't know what to do, and I understand it. Our defense has just been very good. Offense has been efficient. And I even think we could just get a huge play out of Singleton here if they let him go. You know, with all the passes that we got, this would be such a fun formation to run with a gadget receiver. I don't think Nick Singleton can make this throw, but he did. And that is how we're about to end this 3rd quarter. If we end this drive with a touchdown, there is no hope left for USC blasting out of there with Varner. Though I would have much rather had a running back on a run like that, which is why we got Nick Singleton on it, but we're stuck. To be honest, I've really just been messing around with USC, but they are going to score. So this game is not over yet. We probably need to stop trying completely new things. It's hard to do that, though, when there's just so many fun plays inside of this playbook that we get to run. And ultimately, my favorite play potentially is going to try and end it. We just need one more 1st down, and we'd be able to get it if Drew Aller could hit a target. But sure enough, he misses that throw, and we're about to get railed. I don't like how we've opened the door to a potential USC comeback, which could have ended there. But I had a good time messing around with all the plays that we were using. And as long as they don't get a miracle on this onside kick, we're going to win the Natty. A lot of people said it couldn't be done, but that is what we have done this season. Drew Aller and Penn State take home the national championship. I've redeemed the Nittany Lions after that loss to Oregon. And that was just a ton of fun. Let me know what team I should do this with next. It has to be a big school that's a potential championship contender after they lose a game. I'm not sure who that's going to be next week, but if I know college football, I know there's going to be some options. And if you made it this far, you might as well check out another video.